Meet the pecan, Carya illinoinensis. The pecan may be one of the most culturally and ecologically important trees that we have here at Fort Leavenworth. Their native range is in the lower Mississippi River Valley, and they're almost exclusively found in the floodplain forest here at Fort Leavenworth. Pecans are the largest of the hickory genus and are named for the fruit that they produce. They can grow to 140 feet tall and live up to 250 years old. The majority of pecans here at Fort Leavenworth are large mature trees, including the state champion. Key characters to look for when identifying the pecan are its namesake fruit, which are ovular in shape and light green and usually show up in late summer. They turn dark brown in September to October when they ripen. The leaves are compound and alternate and measure 9 to 20 inches in length with 7 to 13 leaflets. Each leaflet measures 4 to 8 inches in length, is lanceolate in shape, and has a slight curve. The bark is dark gray in color with shallow furrows and wide flat ridges that tend to be flaky in mature trees. The pecan is an intermediate identification challenge thanks to other hickory species that have similar looking leaves and the black walnut that has similar looking bark. One method that may prove helpful in identifying fruit producing trees in the forest is to walk around and look for fallen fruits. Once you've found fallen fruits, you can use an identification guide or an identification app to figure out what species it came from. Then look to the canopies for matching leaves. Sometimes binoculars are helpful for this. Once you've found a tree with matching leaves, you can go over and look at the bark and match that as well, so you can be confident in what tree you have. As is the case with most fruit-producing trees, pecans help feed the forest by providing forage for various species, such as birds, raccoons, squirrels, deer, and other small mammals. They're considered a mass-producing tree and fruit every 1 to 3 years, with in-between years producing little to no fruit. They also provide habitat for various species such as birds and small mammals. As many of the pecans in Fort Leavenworth's forests are large mature trees, some of them are coming to the end of their lives. The first stage is dying. This typically happens while the trees are still standing. The bark tends to slough, the branches start to fall, and the heartwood rots away to make way for cavities, which are actually used as habitat by many species. The next stage is decomposition, which happens sometimes when it's standing, but usually happens more rapidly once the tree has fallen over. In this stage, fungi and other microorganisms start to break down the tree and return it to what's essentially soil, replenishing a lot of the nutrients and making way for new trees to grow in its place, starting the cycle all over again. Indigenous uses include eating the nuts whole or grinding them up with various grains to make a soup-like dish. The leaves were pounded into a paste and applied to affected areas with ringworm for treatment. A liquid that was made from boiling of the bark was used to cure tuberculosis. It's also speculated that the pecans here at Fort Leavenworth were actually brought up from southern populations of pecans and cultivated by local tribes. Hey, Jacob here. We hope you liked that video and learned something. If you'd like to see some of our other resources, check out the link in the video description.